My name is Sikhangele, your host on the Weekly Affair. Today I have with me in the show Sarudzai Nyandoro, who was contesting as the independent candidate in the past elections. We want to find out why young people are not registering to vote and also participating in positions of leadership. So welcome to the studio, Sarudzai. Can you please share with us briefly about your political journey?
Thank you very much. When I made the decision to go political, it's because I had realized that there was a need within the political arena for young women and women at large, for them to participate and become a part of the change that was going on within our country. I have a passion for my country. I'm a Zimbabwean, and I have traveled out, and I've realized that I actually love my country. There's a lot that we can do together within my country. This is the reason why I decided to step into politics, to bring a change within my community and within the country as well as to inspire the other young women, to tell them we can, it's possible for us to go into politics without being pressurized, without us being afraid of anything. Just your passion for your country, your passion for your community and what you do.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting because as I said earlier, that there are reports that young people are not coming to the party. They are not participating either as voters and as as leaders in the political sphere. So can you tell us what made you contest as an independent, knowing that in Zimbabwe it's either your party A or your party B? What drove you to that particular conclusion?
It is true that here in Zimbabwe we do have that party politics, that people prefer to go through a party for you to be recognized. But I believe that there are some individuals who are like me, who actually feel that they don't need, or personally I don't like to be put in a box when it now comes to how I express myself. I felt like being under a party, I was going to be forced to fall under particular rules which were actually going to go against my beliefs and what I actually believe when I go out there to serve my community. When I serve my community, it doesn't have to do with anything concerning a party. I serve everybody equally as a citizen of Zimbabwe. They all have a rights. Doesn't matter which party I belong to. So for some people, that's why you find that they do not get involved in politics, because they're saying to themselves, if I go individual, if I go independent, I might not be voted in. If I go through the party, the particular requirements that I need to do, which some feel they cannot do because maybe they're still new, or they don't have the passion, or they feel they're not going to go through. I think lack of knowledge as well, from all levels, the bottom level, the grassroots level, right up to the leadership level, lack of knowledge on how to deal with these citizen voting, citizen getting involved in politics and stuff, especially with the women as well.
Okay, so with your experience in the 2018 elections, do you think being an independent candidate is ideal in Zimbabwe? Now looking at the upcoming elections.
Yes, it is very ideal. It's actually very ideal for you to be independent, because if you're independent, you're running your race. You don't have to start off on particular platform whereby you have got levels for you to get there. If you're ready, I was ready in 2018. I didn't have to go through particular structures for me to be voted in, to be pulled down. I just went through and I said, this is what I want to do. I would like to put a change. My ideas are like this. This is my vision. I'm a visionary. And I believe that there are some women, young girls, young ladies out there that are visionaries like me. So if you just say, I'm a visionary, I can do it. I can step out. You can be an independent. And eventually, they are going to hear you out. Depending on how much you're willing to work for your community, work for the passion that you have inside of you, you can make it. You can do it.
Wow, I love your confidence as an independent candidate. But you seem so adamant that you would never join a political party. What's wrong in political parties?
I will give an example right now. Imagine I was in political party A, That's the name that I'm going to give it to. And within that political party, I'm in parliament. They voted me. I'm in parliament, or I'm a councillor. And they asked me to do something that I cannot do for them. And then they recall me. Basically, you are killing my passion. My passion is for people. This is the reason why I say, you know what? If I am independent, voting independent, there is no recall. Nobody recalls me. I recall myself, basically. So at the end of the day, I serve the people according to my passion and what I see, my heart for the people. My calling, it's actually a calling. Being a politician is a calling.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. So it's got nothing to do with what happens in the political parties, but everything to do with your passion and your vision for your community where you come from, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. So there are reports that young women especially, they do not want to take leadership positions. If they want to take, if they decide to take, they are fighting with other women who were there, like for example in MDC since the year 2000 and ZANU-PF since the 80s. So they're fighting those women as opposed to fighting for these other seats. What's your comment on that?
Know yourself. Just as simple as that. You cannot be in a place for more than a year and your space is not being recognized. The who you are is not being recognized. And you still sit and you still expect them to recognize you. Come out of the box. Be independent. Simple.
So it's true that young people, young women are fighting the other women that are there, or it's just an assumption?
It is possible, yes. They're saying move, or we would like to have the space. But I actually would believe that it's a matter whereby of let's work together. We need the knowledge of those that have gone before us. I have actually looked up to those that have gone before me, as independent as I am, and I have the liberty to address any party person. If I want to go to party A and ask them, how did you do it? She can speak to me, she can talk to me, I can engage with them without anyone asking me, why are you talking to party A? Without any boss asking me, why are you talking to party B? So it's actually okay for them to work together even within the party setup. But the problem is there's ukuvalelana. I don't know how to say it. They close doors for each other, which is actually wrong because the space is big. The political arena is big. The need is big. If you don't go in today, run the race with the one that has already gone in already. Help them out. Step forward. That is how you get seen. You don't say, okay, 2018, they didn't vote me in. You sit down. You wait for 2023. I mean, seriously? You're not serious with whatever it is that you're doing. You don't want to be a politician. What do you want exactly? Remember what I said. Know yourself. If you know who you are, you run the race, whether they vote you in or they don't vote you in. I didn't win the elections according to the paper, but I won according to myself. Because there's the groundwork I'm doing within my community that shows that when I contested, I didn't contest for the position, I contested for the community.
Okay, it's very interesting. You're raising quite controversial statements there. So from your experience working with other politicians, you know, inside and outside political parties, or do you think there's a future for young women, or rather, do you think the space is good enough, the environment is conducive for them to contest in the 2023 elections that are coming?
I'll still repeat, know yourself and what you believe in. If you believe you really want the covering of a political party, then know the games that are played inside there. You really, it's a game. Politics is a game. Know the games that are played inside there for you to go higher. If you can't play the game, just step out and be independent. So I'm not sure, I've not been in a political partisan field for me to really point out and say they are being pulled down. I can say they're being pulled down and they're not being given opportunities, and yet they are not stepping out for the opportunities. They are not showing themselves up. They just show when it's now time for primary elections. But what have you been doing on ground? Have you been working? If they say, I've been doing this within the party, I've been working. I'm not talking about toy-toying and doing other negative stuff. I'm talking about positive work within your party. Then yes, you do deserve to be voted in one way or the other.
All right. So you are speaking strongly about the communities that you are representing.
Yes.
But are the communities ready for the independent candidates? Do you think they understand what being an independent means and they're actually going to change the mindsets? Are they ready for that?
Yeah, like what a great person said, it's a long road to freedom. It's a real long road to freedom. It could have started with me. It could have started with Sarudzai, and as I said before, I stepped in to inspire more. So I could be the pioneer, but I really pray that there's more that will come up and say, I saw her doing it. I would also like to do it. One day, it will happen. We will see quite a lot of people turning to say, I would rather go for an independent than to vote for a party who, when I'm not going to put my X, I don't know who's falling under that jacket.
Okay. Maybe if you could just share one or two strategies that you used in 2018 to get the votes. Maybe someone is listening and they want to start right now. So maybe share how you were doing it.
To be real honest, I was afraid. I was so much afraid. I wanted to do it, but I was so much afraid. So what happened is I had a few people that motivated me to step forward and to go and do it. And I remember the first time when I went to Zek, I actually went there and I was like, someone sent me to inquire. And the lady was talking to me, and the more I inquired, and she ended, who sent you? Okay, what exactly do they need? And eventually I said, okay, it's me. You know, she really realized that I was so much afraid. She was so kind, and she helped me out. I should say, the lady who served me at that time, she was so kind, and she increased my confidence. So I think confidence as well. And if you find somebody who can walk with you through the journey as an independent, it is possible. For me, I did find a few people that came and said, go ahead, you can do it. Mm-hmm. The Zek lady, I had my pastor who said, Sarah, I know you can do it, go for it. He put his first signature for me and he says, I know you can do it. So if you find people that can stand with you through your journey, yes, it's possible. Did I get negative people? Yes. Mm-hmm. Did I have negative voices speaking through that I can't make it? What do you have? What can you do for the community? Yes. But I believed in what I had inside and what I can do for my community. Mm-hmm. I believed in myself first before I could believe in what other people could say about me.
Yeah. All right. So who are you drawing your lessons from? Like, what's your view on mentorship? Is it there in politics? And if it's there, how deep it is? And how important is it for young people to have those kind of people in their lives?
Zimbabwean mentorship has not been there for quite a long time. You mentor somebody if there was, what should I say, if you've got a set type of line that you followed to say, I followed A, B, C, D, come, I show you the way. But if you did fetcha, here, there, you can't mentor anybody because you can't tell them, this is what I did. Because sometimes some people, they do the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. As I said, I got mentored before I stepped into politics. I got my mentoring through different organizations, but it was not into politics. It was mentoring for my own personality, for my own confidence, life coaching. So that's what brought me forward to do what I could do and say, I believe in myself. It was not political mentoring. Political mentoring, I was now learning what politics is and what happens in politics whilst I was already in the game and also reading about Zimbabwean politics, being engaged in platforms that offered this knowledge. So basically, I was I had a desire, I had a zeal. That's actually what is really required. Have the desire, have the zeal. Look for the people that you feel, let me go and ask. They will tell me how and I should do this thing and why I should do it. They might explain it, why I shouldn't, what I should look out for. So basically, yeah, mentorship is lacking, yes. Even those that are in leadership, I feel they need to be mentored.
Okay, are there any Zimbabwean women, female politicians that you look up to?
They are yet to inspire me, actually. I still look up and I say, there's still quite a lot of ground that needs to be done. They're yet to inspire me, but I do actually look at the work that Mai Mnangagwa does without having to put it to any question. I see her stepping out, reaching out and doing the little that she can do. Although maybe we might want bigger and greater things. I've been to some of her forums and basically I think for me, if there are others that have done other things, I've not seen it and I can't say they're not doing anything, but there is the lady that our first lady that I have spoken about. Yes, she has done something that I have seen and I have looked up to and said, I like what she's doing.
Wow, okay. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, so in there are reports, especially looking at the 2018 elections, that young women could not win the seats or could not be seen because of the issue of resources. How did that affect you? And how does it continue affecting young people who try to take up these positions?
Yes, it's true. Resources is a very big issue. We are not resourced. And I think that's the reason why people, they don't go independent. Because if you're independent, you don't have anybody resourcing and independent. And when you're in a party, the party gets their resources, and if you're lucky, it can flow down to you, and you also have your pamphlets or your handouts being done by the party. But if you're independent, it's very difficult. I had to fork out everything from my pocket. I had to do everything from my pocket and have a few well-wishers here and there that actually did. And basically, I should just say, just the grace that was upon me at that time. I think that's what worked, basically.
Yes. Okay, all right. There's also an interesting conversation that I've had with women around me and also women in politics, that about the stereotypes labeled against women in politics or women in leadership. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've been stereotyped as well to say these are prostitutes, liule, and stuff like that. What is your comment around that?
Every woman who is a go-getter will always be stereotyped. We will always be called names because we independent, we step up, but I don't know if they are they that do it, but I think because people, it's a phobia. If people, they don't understand what you're all about, they build a phobia, a negative atmosphere to say this is what is attached to women that are in politics. This is what happens to women that are go-getters. And some women that really want to step up and say, I really would like to be like her, they become afraid because of those levels. But there's some people that, like me, I would say, okay, wow, you say this, so what? You say Saru is green, I'm not green, I'm brown. I'll still walking, I'm brown. I mean, my own character proves that I am not what you call me. This is not who I am. Yeah. I am who I am, and I know who I am. So I will be who I am. I won't be what other people are saying about me, and it won't pull me down. As I said before, I walked through life coaching. I went through a lot of mentoring before I came into politics and into the limelight. So I was prepared. Mm-hmm. So basically, I would say, deal with your inner self first. Be prepared before you go into the limelight because it can crush you.
And how do you deal with fear that comes with the political environment, especially in Zimbabwe?
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it's yes, I do sometimes get afraid. I do sometimes step back because I don't know what happens. I'm a mom. I've got kids, and I'll be thinking about my children to say, if I step forward more, what's going to happen to me is going to affect my children. Do they have an insurance? Are they to say that what happens to me, they are going to stay and be safe? They're going to have someone who look after them and do everything for them, or basically it will be another story for them. You understand what I'm saying? Because whatever it is that I have to do before I say the community, God, my children, and the community. So I have to think about that. Whatever it is that I'm doing, is it pleasing before my Creator? Whatever it is that I'm doing, is it okay for my children? Yes. When I'm doing this community work, when I'm rushing for politics and everything, I want to change our country because this is where my children are. This is where my children are going to grow up. This is the future for my children. This is why I'm doing it. So, yes, I do get afraid at times. It's a fearful ground. But I look at reality because sometimes fear could be just illusions that I'm seeing. Then I step and say, what is the reality about this whole issue? When I contested in 2018, I was told that people... they get killed if you contest, you get killed if this and that happens, this and that. So I looked at it and I said, is it true? Let me try it out, or is it an illusion? I didn't see that happening to me. I was not tortured. I actually contested freely and fairly. Yes.
Okay. For yours is a different story from what is happening in political parties, probably from what we hear in the streets. Did you at some point meet someone who said, I'll do this for you if you did A, B, C, D, when looking at issues of sexual violence?
I think as an independent, no, I didn't get that because I was not looking up to being voted into any primary elections. I was running my own race. Okay. So I did not face that. But yes, because I was open to political parties A, B, and C, those that were within that set up, they did really confide and say, I thought I was going to be voted in and I got used and this happened to me and that happened to me. They will just share their stories. But at the end of the day, they do face quite a few things. But at the end of the day, if there's anybody listening right now, what I will tell you is it's a choice. Don't make the wrong choices. Don't fall for it. Leadership does not come by any way but through passion and what you do. Eventually, the noise that you're making will be heard.
Wow, that's an interesting point. So, any plans for 2023?
Yes, I have great plans for 2023 to inspire other women. I will not be running for 2023, but I'm definitely going to be supporting those that are running. There are some who are actually in parties that have actually called me and said, you know what, Saru, I want to run for 2023. What do you think? And I'm like, come, let's sit down. Come, let's talk. Go for it. And they're like, thank you so much. I'm not going to mention names. And they're saying, I would like to go and become the MP for this place. And I'm go for it. I am actually mentoring quite a few that actually have come to me and said, this is what I would like to do. What do you say about it? I say, go for it, push forward. Oh, in my party, they've done this. No, don't be afraid, speak out. So, yes, one of the ladies came and told me, I've done it. They've now made me a leader in a particular area, and this is what I'm doing. I say, that's great. Mm-hmm. That's great. Go for it.
Would you mind sharing why you're not contesting? If it's not too personal.
I've decided to take another route in serving my community. And I really wouldn't like it to get involved politically, so that's the reason why I'm not contesting.
Oh wow! Okay, that's very nice. I hope the people that you are mentoring are going to make it in 2023. Yes. So before we close the show, maybe you have something to share around participation of women in leadership, just generally?
What I would like to say to the older women, the younger women will not take up your space. If you got voted in to go and slip, I feel you just need to get out. If you don't have a portfolio of what you did, I mean, seriously, you go in for the purpose of the people. If you don't have anyone that you're mentoring while you're already in leadership, if you don't have a portfolio that says you've done something, just step out. Step out and let somebody in, because we need a Zimbabwe where people are going to do something for Zimbabweans. Don't block the space. Just step out.
How come the society is so heartless or tough on the women, but it's quiet on the men? Does it mean all the men in leadership are doing justice to it, or we're just not ready to confront men who are not doing their job?
In actual fact, even men need to step out. It's just actually in both sides, because we've got so much talented youth. Let me put it that way. Let me not say women. We've got so much talented youth. But the problem that we are facing is lack of knowledge. Our educational system does not channel the upcoming generation in a space where they can be political. When we were growing up, we had to vote for Miss Valentine, we had to vote for Miss this, we had public speaking. Right from primary school, we were taught, maybe this is why I'm vocal, because we were taught on how to express ourselves. And the educational system that is there does not have that. It does not have that. And as I will say, maybe we need the younger generation to speak out and say, this is what we want in our educational system. We need this because we never got it. So my cry out there is, may the people that are looking into our educational system, can they look at that as well to say, this is what we need for our country. This is what will develop our country. So we need to push it in this way. Our children don't even know the Constitution. They need to know the sing it off head.
You are raising quite a lot of points around our education system, around teaching our kids leadership at that early stage. But I'm still interested in knowing how best we can deal with men in leadership. How best can women position themselves as opposed to fighting among themselves?
Let's just stop voting for men. He buys you an ice cream, just promise it, but put an X on somebody else. I think as women, we really need to stop believing that men can do better. It's a culture, it's a system, it's in the mind. We need to change our mentality and the way we look at things. We can do it as women. We can hold together. Do we need to remove men totally? No, we can work together. But this is why we're calling for a 50-50, because we're saying 50-50, let's work together. And as I'm saying, for the women that are old, that are older in the system and are not doing anything to step out, I say the same thing for the men. Please, open way for the younger men.
So you are saying it's promising that at some point in Zimbabwe we're going to achieve gender equality?
Yes. If we have lots and lots and lots of women that will say, I will mentor my own to go through, then yes. We have women that are already in leadership, MPs, councillors. I want to see those councillors saying, I'm mentoring another female council to take up my seat. But the problem is, or take up another seat. If you're saying, I'm not ready to move, then mentor somebody to take up another seat and have it in your portfolio and say, this is what I've done. So it is possible. If we keep speaking, if we keep pushing, it will happen. It will work out.
Thank you so much, Saru, for joining me today. You are very strict about your ideas, about your about how you do your own things as an independent and everything. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you for watching The Weekly Affair. Today we're talking about leadership and why young people should participate and be part of the table. I hope you guys had sifundo kuningi. Until we meet next week, it's a goodbye.